excited to have Dasha here with us, and just also like an announcement before we start this meeting. Dasha's going to be getting really vulnerable with us and talking a lot about just body image and everything that she's been through and kind of how she's become who she is today. And it's gonna definitely, she's like sharing a lot with us. So just a reminder to be respectful and positive towards everyone at all times. And then we're also going to get into a little bit of like discussion later on in the chat just about body image and everything. So definitely don't feel the need to share too much if things are personal to you and you don't want to share, but also feel free to share as well and just like know this is a safe space. So that's what I wanted to note before. Now, Dasha, take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited. I just want to thank Tyler and Alyssa for inviting me to do this. I've never really shared my full story, so I think even people who know me, I see as friends, like they're going to be like excited to see what I'm sharing tonight. And I'm just really excited. Can we use the chat and just say what's going on in your life? Because like, how are you? Everything else like that. Because like the school extended that going home thing. We're in lockdown. Like, how's everyone feeling about that? Write that in the chat. How's your life going? Oh, you're moving out of the North apartment, stressed, excited for my meeting. Corona. Who has Corona? Kylie?
I promise I won't see you guys, don't worry.
Oh, Kylie, not my mentee.
Oh no, that's tough.
I'll be
well,
Saturday, so
we're here together tonight, so let's all be present. Let's just enjoy. I have a fun meeting. Sister had a baby. That's so exciting. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm also really sweating. And if I start talking fast, everyone like throw an emoji or something up there. So let me share my screen. All right. Can you all see this?
Yes.
How do I pull the chat up now? Oh, here we go. More, sorry. I'm like an old lady with the computer. Okay, perfect. 1 second. All right. All right. You can all see me. You can see my screen. You can't see the chat on the screen, can you? Perfect. Okay, so this is me. Hi, I'm Dasha. I know my thing says Daria. That's just my full name. Everyone calls me Dasha. And today I'm going to tell you a little bit about my life. So let's get into it. Here we are. So first of all, hi. I'm from Westwood, Mass, which is South Shore of Boston. I'm near like Dedham, Norwood, those areas. I'm a sophomore. I'm in Isenberg. I'm a hospitality major, and I'm also in the Honors College. You've probably seen me in our WIB meetings. I am the co-director of community service, which I love, and I'm also on the Minuteman Dancers. So if you guys ever have any questions about any of those things, feel free to reach out to me. And before we get into this meeting, I just also want to highlight like a trigger warning kind of, because I am going to be talking about some things surrounding disordered eating and body dysmorphia and issues like that. So if any of that is tough for you, which is totally understandable, you can hop off the Zoom and it will only take about like 20 minutes of my presentation. But that's a you thing, whatever you feel comfortable with. And I also want to talk about the fact that I will use harsh language when I'm talking about some things, but that's only to communicate how I really felt in those moments. So it's not to be rude or anything like that. It's really just to express like that was my understanding at the time and that's what I believed. So it's just for you guys to understand that. I don't use words like that anymore when talking about body positivity or anything like that. It's just for you guys to understand. So just be mindful of that. And let's get into it. So the first thing is, this is a picture of me from 2015. And I want you guys to use the chat to describe who you think this girl is. Do you think anything goes, first thing that pops into your head? Do you think she's nice? Do you think she's beautiful? Do you think she's strong? Is she an athlete? Who is she? And I talk about her like she's a she because I don't even know her. Oh my God, who said that? Oh, thirsty. I'm holding 2 drinks. I thought it was the other thirsty. Tumblr girl. I like that. Very cool. What else? Oh, I love it. This is awesome, guys. Pretty Tumblr girl. Is that really what that's giving you? Tumblr girl? That's kind of easygoing. This is yep, this is right near Newbury Street, right in front of the train station. She'd be nice. Okay, awesome. Can we get a little bit more on fitness? Is she an athlete? Does she play sports? What are we feeling there just by this picture? Anybody? Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So we kind of have a basis of our understanding of this person, right? Just from the picture, just from assumptions we can make. She seems nice. She's pretty, strong. We think she plays a sport, and that's our understanding of her on the surface level, right? So when we're thinking about it, and when I want to talk about my real life is, you might think all those things when you look at me in this photo, but in reality, I was struggling so hard with body image issues and disordered eating habits. And if you asked me at that age, I would never have been able to call it by its name. I was struggling so hard and so alone, and you would have never known because I am the most confident. I am the busiest. I had 3 jobs in high school. I was on a dance team that I love dance, and that was like my platform that just made me feel so happy all the time. And you would have never known that I had these fears and I was struggling with these things so often and so constantly that I couldn't even recognize there was an issue, and I suffered in silence. I was constantly tracking and quantifying my fitness. And by that, I mean counting pounds, counting calories, and things like that. I identified as the bigger girl in the room. I never viewed myself in the way that others viewed me. And it wasn't even like a point where I could see that there was an incongruence. It was just a belief. When you're in that and you have blinders on to the rest of the world, there's nothing else that you could see. And whether I was trained that from my environment, from our social expectation of what we're supposed to look like or anything like that, I was so restrictive in so many different aspects of my life that I was just struggling and so lonely on the inside. And I just never thought of myself in this beautiful way. Right. So that's a really tough thing to do, especially as a 16-year-old, 15-year-old going through high school and a lot of different changes. So why doesn't this clicker work? So these are some photos of me ranging from 2018 to 2019, different parts of the year. So these photos are what you see is body checking. So when you walk by the mirror and you just like lift up your shirt and you're like looking at yourself and things like that. If you ask Dasha from 2018 if you thought she was fit, skinny, or beautiful, I would have told you that I was huge. I would have told you that I identified as like a big person, that I was meant for curvy fitting clothing. But look at this girl, especially these 2 photos in the middle. I don't think anyone in their right mind could look at this person and say that they were unhealthy, that they weren't strong, that they weren't lean, or any of those words. And that's the scariest part, is that I couldn't even see any of the problem. I couldn't see that in 2018, I was like my leanest self. I couldn't identify that my struggle was so reprimanding of my life. And so it went from fad diet to the next. I was paleo, and then I was vegan, and then I was binging, and I was eating McDonald's, and I was just this up and down person and things like that. And those little habits just controlled my life. And I struggled really with disordered eating, which is different from an eating disorder. So I will get into that as well. But you can just definitely see, like, I just look at this girl and I just kind of feel sad for her. I just want to shake her and say, like, wake up. Like, this isn't, like, it's almost like I had glasses on for so many years of my life. I only saw this problem in this one way. And I thought of my body as a problem. Like, it was always a problem that I had to fix. And it was something that I constantly had to battle. And I don't even think I identified it as an issue until I've been an adult. So it's just kind of crazy to think about. And you can look at these photos and absolutely, you can't even argue that there was clearly something going on here, right? So to get more into eating disorder versus disordered eating, I thought this picture was a good representation of that. Disordered eating is small but controlling nuances that are a part of your life. And the reason that they're 2 different things is because disordered eating habits are reinforced by society. Society capitalizes on your shortcomings through these habits. Okay, for instance, what's a good example? I was trying to think of like a wrap, when you order a wrap versus bread, right? Everyone thinks when you get a wrap on your sandwich, it's low calorie and things like that, right? Versus bread. Bread is just as enjoyable as a wrap and things like that. But society says a wrap is healthier because it's less bread, less carbs. And that connects to the whole keto thing, right? No carbs. Everyone's eating cauliflower right now, which starts a whole cycle of people making money eating keto, which makes you think you can't eat carbs, even though you need carbs to function, right? And then it just keeps going. And then those form anxieties around different food groups. So for instance, I really struggle with carbs, like a bowl of pasta and a side of bread. Those are like double carbs, and it really freaks me out, to which I then restrict. And then I binge, and it's this whole cycle, but it's just nuances. Whereas I think, and this is my understanding, and I'm not a professional, eating disorders, when those nuances build up into something like what we know, anorexia, bulimia, things like that. So my struggles were on a daily basis at every meal in every instance, and they weren't building up and restricting my life to an extent that I could acknowledge, which is really important to recognize. And I think disordered eating is also highlighted on people's like fitness instas. You hear a lot about like cancel Fitspo, right? Which is different than what we're going to talk about today. Fitspo would be like someone who only eats egg whites. And if you do these things, that's totally fine. But I'm just talking about my experience. And through that, it's just very tough. It's like, what's wrong with the whole egg? Why can't you eat that? Is it really that much healthier not to eat it and restrict yourself in that way? Because slowly you start taking things off your menu and out of your life. And then what's left? Food isn't an enjoyable thing. I didn't have a healthy relationship with food, and that's why my body looked like the way it did, whether or not I knew what I was doing to myself. So it's just a really tough thing. And I think that identifying the difference between these two things is super important to acknowledge health and fitness culture that continues on and on. So hold on, I need a sip of water. If anyone has questions, type them in the chat. Or if I'm talking kind of fast. So this is a picture of me from 2017, which was before all those other pictures. And I like looked so tiny. I'm like, I don't even know that person. Oh, thank you. But I was really struggling. I was really struggling, and I didn't know who to ask for help, how to ask for help. I don't think anyone in my high school even knew I needed help. I really kept all of my problems to myself, even the stuff that was going on at home with my family. Everything was just really tough. And I started even struggling with mental health issues, and I was just riddled with anxiety. I felt so lonely just in my bed, struggling with depression and those types of things. And it was until I chose to recognize that I needed help that my life started to change. So I made the active decision to go to therapy, which was the best decision of my life. I think everyone can utilize therapy. I don't think you have to have a reason to go to therapy. I think anyone and everyone can do that. So it really just changed my life. And in therapy, I had to relearn my everything, right? I had to relearn talking about fear foods. No foods should be associated with guilt. There's like those guilt-free recipes. Food shouldn't feel guilty. Food shouldn't feel guilty. You need food to eat, to survive, like everything like that. You need food to fuel, right? Negative self-talk, that was a huge thing for me in therapy. I would be in the gym at 6 a.m. before school, before dance practice, I was going, and I would look at myself in the mirror and I would say the nastiest things to myself, even though I'm at the gym working out. Does that even make sense? Does that even make sense that I'm working so hard and I'm telling myself that I'm not good enough and everything like that? Makes no sense. I had to retrain my brain. My therapist told me every time I talk badly to myself in the gym, I have to leave. I have to walk out the door and leave immediately, drop everything and leave. I retaught myself how to love movement, how to enjoy movement. I found yoga, which I love. I found other fitness classes, which I love. And if you see me on Days with Dasha, which you're going to see, I love trying new things. I love aerial yoga. If you ever have the opportunity to do that, do that. I did yoga with headphones, all these crazy things. But I started to really fall in love with movement again. And by relearning all those things, I also fell in love with the holistic side of the health and fitness world, which is healing yourself, through foods, eating whole foods, things like that, fueling your body to be the best body, right? So it was about reteaching myself from my awful and troubling experiences to be the best me, right? Which I have no regrets about anything. I love that I took that and I changed my life with it. And I just am so grateful that I was able to recognize that. So some key takeaways from my experience. I think a great thing to highlight is that my life is a choice. I didn't know how to word that properly, but I think it will make sense. I choose to work hard at my life. I choose to go to therapy to better myself, for me, my future, my peers, and my family, to be a better sister, to be a better daughter, to be a better human in society. That is my choice. I don't want people to think that any of these problems are behind me, because they're still super real and prevalent. Like, my voice is shaking just even talking about them. It's like, it's wild. It's buried somewhere in my brain, but I don't want people to think any of it was easy. Healing is not linear. I am still healing every day, and I work hard and I choose the path that I'm on. So I think that's a huge takeaway from my experience and my story. The next piece is our bodies are beautiful. Now I can do handstands for 30 seconds at a time. I'm wicked strong, and I'm probably the heaviest in pounds I've ever been. I think there's a huge misconception about what health looks like. And in 2021, I've been seeing so much of it and I love it. We are shattering all of those beauty standards, all of those standards in strength. And our bodies do amazing things. Be grateful you can walk to go get the mail. Be grateful you can do a handstand, and encourage yourself to do more of all those things, right? And the other thing is, things are not always as they seem. So you saw that girl at the beginning who was so happy and who looked like she was having a ball. And I want to acknowledge, I did have a happy life. Every day of my younger life was not miserable. I was happy. I don't think if you even asked her, she would say anything about it. But I felt so alone. I had such a tough time, and it was the choice to get help and change my life that made things better. So I just want to highlight that things aren't always as they seem. So if a friend in your, or even you, are having those feelings, not even just about this, just about anything, like, be that friend that supports that friend, be there for them, acknowledge them, and just acknowledge that not everything is as it appears. So that's just my little intro. I want to stop and do any quick questions that anyone has. We're going to have a discussion at the end, but anything that anyone's like burning questions, anything? Okay. All right, I'm going to keep going. I love this chat. So I want to transition with a little bit of a story, but backstory to the story is I was one of the coolest people in my high school. I was one of the most popular people. I was prom queen. I was everything. Okay, before I go to this next slide, I was one of the coolest people. This is what I looked like going into high school. Okay. As you can see, definitely coolest. No, I'm just kidding. I think what really brings my whole outfit together is the chevron and pink phone case. And the headband that's like barely in my hair. I think that's what really brings it together. But I want to open with a little bit of a story. So when I was a freshman in high school, I played field hockey. And I was in the locker room one day and we were changing. And mind you, I did really not know any of the girls on the field hockey team, nor did I play field hockey. I had no real credentials being on this team. I don't know why I was there, but I was there. And I was in, I love that comment. Did you have a chevron phone case or are you normal? And we were in the locker room, right? And I was getting changed for practice or whatever we were doing. And I threw my hair up in a big bun like this, right? For no reason, this girl comes up to me, for absolutely no reason, and just starts beating on my hairstyle. She said I looked so dumb. I looked like an idiot. Who wears their hair like that? It looks like a croissant is resting on your head. And every day after that, I wore my hair like this. I did not care that that girl said that. And then it just was comfortable. I ended up wearing my hair like this all the time until it became part of my identity. It was the Dasha bun. People knew I had this huge bun on my head. You would never lose me in a crowd. When I get stopped in grocery stores and people are like, I love your bun. And I do have a croissant on my head, right? So that just kind of brings me to Days with Dasha. So this is my logo, right? And you can see the big bun on my head because it's part of my identity. It's grown into that. This is just how I wear my hair now. And I love it. I encourage everyone to do it. It's fabulous. But the big thing that I saw after transitioning into all that healing I did about my body, all those struggles I did, all that anxiety I worked through, everything. I loved fitness. I loved it, loved it, loved it. But I saw some huge gaps in the industry that I just felt like no one was touching on. And about a year ago, I just realized these things. There's nobody in the fitness industry that looks like me. And I just felt like so many other people felt that way. Either somebody who's like Keto Kevin, who has a six-pack and doesn't eat anything, right? Or you're like, just, it was one extreme or the other. And I just felt like there was no happy medium. It's either counting calories, it's keto, it's something else. I know I keep saying keto, my brain's like somewhere else. But nobody was making healthy living realistic. I was sick of fad diets. I was happy with my healing. I was finally at a place where I was at peace with fitness. I was at peace with my food. And I wanted something to do. I wanted something. And I was teetering on this idea for a month. You can ask all of my friends. I brought it up to them. I was like, I really want to make this account or something. I just want to do something. And my best friend Abigail just wrote something about me. And I just asked everyone, and I was scared out of my mind, right? But the thought of helping one person identify with me outweighed any fear that I had about this. I was scared beyond belief. But if one 16-year-old Dasha saw that, she would have changed her whole life at 16. She wouldn't have wasted 4 years till she was 20 to get it all together and to heal. And I don't regret any of that. But imagine touching someone at such a young and developmental age that could change their entire life. It's wild to think about. And that just pushed me to do it. And so then Days with Dasha was born. So this is my Instagram where I kind of just blog. I do healthy recipes. I do realistic living, making healthy living easy. So if you all want to grab your phone, I would appreciate if you followed. If you're interested in any of those topics, share it with anyone you think would enjoy it. And just, I love this account, and it just has brought me so much joy, and it has touched so many people. It has touched more people than I would ever imagine, right? I have had countless messages saying that they love my account. This helped them get through their eating disorder or anything like that. I inspire people to do different workouts. I inspire people to honor their cravings and be an intuitive eater, everything like that. So if any of those things interest you, I'd really encourage you to go follow. I would really appreciate it. I love every single person that follows, and it just makes me so happy that we have such a big community growing on that page. So this is the kind of content you can expect from me. I want everyone to use the chat and just comment some things you're seeing in this picture, or maybe what you're not seeing. Let's see what everyone says. Happy, food, happiness, cheese. Oh, guys, I have a charcuterie board book, okay? Positivity, love it. Mask, I love it. So let me just highlight some things you don't see here. You don't see any food groups missing, right? You don't see any restrictiveness. You see happiness. You see a real human. That's a real person right there. That's a real person who has a real life. You see fitness. You see strength. You see all those things through that. You see some healthy recipes up top. Those are my protein balls. Those are my fave. Alexa says the charcuterie board. It's that cheese plate will change your life or something like that. But you see all this color and all this life through my posts. And that is just exactly what I want to share with people. So yeah, So what you can expect as a follower, honesty. I review a lot of products on Days with Dasha, from health products, beauty products, recipes, everything like that. And I'm telling you now, I'm always honest. I love sharing with my viewers what I think about things, why I think they're important. I talk a lot about small businesses and why it's important to support them, especially right now. And I try to just be really honest on there about whatever I'm thinking, however I'm feeling, because someone else is feeling it too. And sometimes I have hesitation, but I think that people appreciate and respect honesty. So that's a really key pillar in the content on Days with Dasha. Transparency. I'm not gonna lie. If I had 3 green juices for breakfast or a breakfast burrito, there should be no difference in how we value foods or anything like that. If I'm eating Chinese food on a Sunday, you'll know about it. You'll know about everything. You'll know about the balance. And that's what I try to acknowledge. Also, I have mental health days. I need a day off. I need a day to just sit in sweats and cry. Sometimes everyone can relate. And I won't be posting on Days with Dasha that I'm having the best day. No, Instagram is a highlight reel, right? Days with Dasha is providing a platform of realness. I also don't use face altering filters on Days with Dasha anymore. I really only just color the photos that I post, but nothing is altered. And there's a whole big point of why you shouldn't really use filters on your page, because it just kind of alters our perception of life. And the other thing I want to highlight that's really important on Days with Dasha is confidence. I have a big energy, and I think that my confidence really exudes through all of my posts, and you can just feel it when you go look at my content, when you go look at anything I've posted. And I hope to share little bits and pieces of that with everyone who follows. I hope that everyone gets a little bit more confident. Maybe I write a little article about swimsuits or something like that, and everyone just feels a little bit more empowered to go out of their comfort zone and go for it. Right? So those are just some 3 really key elements to the content I put on Days with Dasha. Perfect. So through creating Days with Dasha was created about a year ago. And I was at peace with all of that, as I had said, and I was looking for a spot to come in on my fitness journey and everything like that, and share on Instagram what I was loving, everything like that. And so all of that had been building up inside me. People were really liking Days with Dasha. I was starting to get a bit of a following. I only had like 100 followers at this time. When I first started, it was a private account with 10 people. I did not let anybody see that. It was locked up. But by this time, I had around 100 to 150 followers, which was a lot for me. And so I started reflecting about my body positivity journey, and I started realizing how much time I wasted hating myself, and it freaked me out. If I added up every minute and every second that I wasted complaining about my body, disrespecting my body, speaking negatively to my body, not feeding my body, if I added up all those minutes, how much of my life did I just throw in the garbage? How much of my life did I just waste and not appreciate? And it freaked me out so bad that from that day, I had this big eye-opening experience. I was like, I am not going to waste a minute more of the life that I have complaining and not loving myself at this unconditional level. And I swear from that day on, I haven't. Of course, I have bad days where I don't feel as confident in my body. I'm human. But it was acknowledging that those moments of weakness are only temporary and shall pass. And that does not define the way my body functions and the way I should appreciate my body. So this post went out on that day that I had this epiphany. And so it was a really big post, and it started to really blow up. And this is a quote I have on the side that is just really changed the whole game for me. And if we all ate the same, worked out the same, and did the same thing every day, we still would all look different, right? And so this post really started getting some action to Days with Dasha. 100 followers went to 200. And then the next day, it started just building up and creeping up even more. And I started to feel so confident through it, I always answered my DMs. I enjoyed messaging with all of these people and everything like that. And so it started to get really exciting and just so empowering to so many girls in my community and everything that was happening in my life. And it was just starting to get a little bit crazy. I was getting so excited. And I had always been itching to do a YouTube channel. So then Days with Dasha came out on YouTube. And if you know me, I'm not doing anything without doing 100%. I opened up the Days with Dasha YouTube channel with a body positive photo shoot. And so the video launched every other piece of content that came out on Instagram, that came out on YouTube and everything like that. And it was this big thing and everyone was sharing it. And then my YouTube channel blew up. I teamed up with one of my friends who's a photographer, Amanda B Photography. She's amazing. And we came out with this video, which you can find on my YouTube channel. And these are some of the photos from the photo shoot. And it was just awesome. Everyone was sharing it. And it helped Days with Dasha just really take off. So 200 followers became 600 in like 2 weeks. It was crazy. It was wild. And people were just loving everything about it. People were discovering Days with Dasha. People were acknowledging the content, loving the content and everything like that. I need to speak a little faster, but yes. So this was an amazing experience and so liberating for my body. I just felt so awesome and I felt so like badass. I was like, felt so cool. It was just awesome. So it really started getting popular and it started getting passed around. My mom's friends were knowing about it and everything like that, which led me to getting passed around and landing an interview. Oh, wait, I moved too far ahead. Hold on one second. Another point. Now, as of last night, I have 693 followers, which to me is insane. You might all think that that's not a lot of followers on Instagram, but it actually is because my engagement rate is so high. People are commenting on my videos. People are sharing on my videos. Wait, so I have 755 followers? That's crazy. So I have such a high engagement rate. People are always messaging me and communicating with me. So it really does not matter how many followers you have at this point. I guess I'm so excited. Oh my God, that just, it really doesn't matter how many followers you have anymore. It's more about the engagement you have with your following. And with that engagement, I was able to land an interview at BusyCo. And so that happened through a bunch of connections. A friend of a friend had seen Days with Dasha and she loved it. And they saw that there was an opportunity at BusyCo. And Days with Dasha got sent to the two founders and they looked over it. They loved it. They invited me for an interview and it was just the craziest thing. I also started working with different brands and small businesses to work with them. I did a couple giveaways and things like that. But the big thing was that I had landed this interview and I actually ended up getting the job at BusyCo. So let me tell you a little bit about BusyCo and what I do for them. Basically, I went through my interview and they told me they needed someone to do their social media. And me, 20 years old, I'm like, you want me to work and play on Instagram? That's my job? And essentially, yes, but I do so much more than that now. So I run BusyCo's Instagram, their Facebook, their customer service. I coordinate with all influencers of our company, meaning I'm sending PR product to them. I also coordinate any giveaways with other brands and any bundles we do. So BusyCo is a woman-owned, which is awesome. Number one, sustainable business. BusyCo has created the first biodegradable wipe for your face, hand, body, and everything in between that is just on the go and amazing. And these are the best products ever. I would not recommend them if I did not love them. And they are just so amazing. And I'm just so glad that there's something finally for women on the go. It's created for the busy woman. And I'm just so happy to be a part of a company and a team that supports me, supports such a great message for both the earth and yourself. They're the first wipe with real skincare ingredients and everything like that. So it's just really amazing. And I feel so lucky to have the job there. And I feel so excited to be able to take what I loved in Days with Dasha and bring it to a company and kind of go off those experiences. So You also can use code Dasha at checkout at BusyCo if you want to try some products. Please follow us on Instagram, comment, like, do anything you can, go on our website, get on our email chain. And we're always looking for influencers. So if any of you want to be an influencer, reach out to me. I will set it up. You will get product. And right now, basically what I do is send out product in exchange for content. So what I create as Days with Dasha goes on BusyCo's feed as featuring Days with Dasha. And it's just a really awesome cycle. I do love the glow wipes. They're my favorite. Everything about them is amazing. They just make you so glowy and dewy, and they have hyaluronic acid in them, which is so good for your skin. So definitely check us out. Give us a follow. Go check us out. Order some products. Definitely do it up. So I want to finish with just a quick little thing before we start a discussion. I know I've been talking a long time, but I want to use the chat and say, what do you think of this girl? What do you think she's like now that you know a little bit more about her? And we can call her Dasha now because that's me, like 2 weeks ago. Do you think what would be some words you use to describe her? That's awesome. I love living her life because that's exactly what me from 4 years ago was not doing. Oh, you guys are so awesome. These are so nice. I love it. So some key takeaways. Again, I want to reiterate that I choose to work hard at my life in all aspects. If you know me personally, you know I'm doing 1,000,001 things at once. I'm in WIB, I'm on the dance team, I'm working, I'm in school, and I choose to do all those things, and I choose to work hard and work through everything that I do to be at that level, and I wouldn't change it for a world. I choose to work hard at balancing my food and fitness and everything like that. So I just want to highlight that, and that's so important to recognize. Number 2, do it. I was scared for 2 months. How many minutes was that? 2 months of being scared to create Days with Dasha, 2 months being scared of judgment, 2 months of just agony of just deciding whether I should do it. And now looking back, I'm like, what the heck? Why did I wait so long? I should have just done it. And now I've done it. And I just wish I pushed myself even further at that moment. I think anyone who needs to hear that, just do it. You're hearing it now. If you've been teetering on an idea, just do it. And lastly, the big takeaway is you only have one body and you only have one life, right? How many minutes do you want to waste complaining about it, not fueling it with the things that you need to be your most successful self, not loving it unconditionally, restricting it from different activities? You only have one body. Make it everything. That body is what you have, and you got to work with it. Make it strong. Fuel it well. You have one life. Push it. Do everything that you want to do, because this is your opportunity. The opportunity is now, not tomorrow, not next week. Just go for it. And that's just what I want to leave you guys off on. I want to say thank you so much again for having me come. I want to do a little talk right now for anyone that wants to speak out. Follow me at Days with Dasha. You can always DM me. I try to check my DMs once a day. Email me. If you're in Amherst, feel free. I'm always around. Go for a walk, do anything. But yeah, that's my spiel. That's what I have for you guys. So yay.
Thank you.
That was literally so amazing. That was so wonderful.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad.
You're so inspiring. And honestly, like, I guess a question that I have for you is, like, how does it feel to just like be vulnerable about what you've been through? And like, how did it feel to share that? Like, I'm sure you were super nervous at first, but like, are you happy you did? Like, kind of how was that like roller coaster of emotions?
I think that I am just so relieved right now, but it's kind of weird, the like hidden emotions buried inside me. Like I was reading it, I started to choke up at the beginning. I was looking at those pictures. I'm like, there's 150 people on here. I was like, oh my God, did I make the right decision? Should I have been this vulnerable? And now at the end, I just feel so great. And I'm so lucky that I have a platform like this to be able to talk to so many girls and everything. And I just feel really great that I was able to do this and just talk to people. So.
I think that's amazing. I think vulnerability in general is such a powerful thing to use, because if you are okay being vulnerable, you will find so many people that relate to you. Like, I'm sure so many people, as you were going through this meeting, were like, wow, I've had thoughts like that too. Wow, I do that too. Wow, I really want to change how I feel about my body. And like, honestly, like, even in terms of mental health, like, I'm always super open about the fact that I'm on anxiety meds. And like, what I've realized in the past is like, when I'm vulnerable and just like am open about the fact that I'm on medication for anxiety, the more people will come up to me and be like, oh, you are? Wait, so am I. Like, how was your journey with that? And like, and then I'm able to help people. So like, I just like want to thank you for like your vulnerability with your like whole journey, because I'm sure it just inspired so many people tonight and just made other people feel more confident in like who they are, and just inspired people to want to change their view on their bodies. So thank you.
Thank you for being vulnerable. I'm so lucky to be here. I'm so happy. And oh my gosh, 777 followers. That's wild. This was an hour long. But I'm so grateful that I have the ability to be vulnerable and vocalize what I've been through, and let that connect to anyone who feels that, or feels like any aspect of what happened in my life is in their life. So yeah, I want to remind you guys that I'm going to do a workout class with social events. So definitely sign up for that. It'll be super fun, like a stretch and sculpt kind of class. And anything like that. If you want to turn your camera on and ask a question, type a question, anything. I'm reading the chat right now. Seriously.
Yeah, Alexa is wondering if you are still using the strategies that you learned to this day.
100%. 100%. All of those things I talked about are still extremely relevant in my life, especially even I just moved back. I'm on campus. So anytime I have to transition or something like that, I think it all kind of comes back up a little bit for me. I definitely still utilize the leaving the gym. I never really have to actually exit the gym. It's usually just like a check-in with myself. Like, are you ready to be here? Are you ready to work out in a way that you can talk to yourself? One time my therapist even said to me, she said, how would a healthy and positive adult talk to you right now? What would they say to you? And that's kind of like a position change that you have to play with your mind. And what would someone who is being rational and positive and respectful say to you in this moment? So I still definitely use all of those tools that I've learned over the years. But yeah.
Have you ever experienced negativity with your account?
So I was actually kind of hoping I would get this question, because up until last month, no, which is weird, weird. I actually experienced, someone commented something really hateful on a TikTok I had posted, like just super like mean for no reason. And I was just like so bummed at first. Like, it really bummed me out that someone had nothing better to do than write something nasty on my page. But you kind of have to realize, if someone's at that point, there's got to be so many other things in their life making them so negative that they want to say something like that to you. Why are they, what do you not have going on that you're so bored that you're going to comment something like that on my TikTok? But to my surprise, the comments just blew up on that. Like, I hadn't even seen it, and somebody had already responded saying like, it's really sad to see someone come on here and be really mean like that. You should be more mature. It was crazy. And stuff like that. I also felt like I had some like whispers just talking about Days with Dasha in kind of a negative way, which again, it just bums me out for a second, but I recognize that if people are talking about you, you're doing something right. And then that person who was saying things created their own fitness account. So it's kind of funny. But I think that with me and negativity, I can definitely be above it. And I think you just have to acknowledge, like, where is this person coming from? What's going on in their life and things like that.
I love that. Oh my gosh, people are saying they want a podcast from you.
That was on the brain. But
That is genius. I would 100% listen.
Totally.
Maybe I should do that. Is Days with Dasha going to be part of your career post-college? Probably. I love it, and it's pretty good for me to do. It's convenient. I just post like what I'm eating, what I'm doing, and I feel really passionate about the posts I put up, and I don't force myself to post anything. So I can see it definitely being part of my life post-college.
Dasha, I like your Instagram, like because of just how inspirational it is, but also because you're just like so real and there's just some like light and funny humor too. Like I loved the selfie today that was literally like sushi at the dining hall.
Yeah, I try to be funny. Like last night, I couldn't stop laughing that I had to they sent out the email that you had to choose if you were leaving campus by 5 p.m. today. And I was crying live on camera. And I was like, I just texted my therapist for emergency meeting tomorrow.
Mood been there a few times.
It's not just like, oh, healthy recipes or anything like that. Like I keep it so real and lighthearted on Days with Dasha. So yeah. Any other good questions?
I don't have a question. However, Dasha recommended like an iced matcha green tea latte. And I've been trying to quit coffee. I don't know why. I just am. So I'm like, I'm going to switch to tea. And I took Dasha's recommendation and I probably have it 3 to 4 times a week. So she has had an influence on my life.
In your bank account, because those
In
are
my
like
bank
$7 every time.
I know, I buy it.
Starbucks. But yeah, send some more questions. I love these questions. They're so awesome.
Or like feel free to unmute yourself too and come on camera. We wanted to make this like more discussion-y at the end. And I mean, of course, if you're a little bit nervous to like unmute yourself or ask a question in this chat, like feel free to reach out to Dasha. She'd be more than happy to talk to you. So
seriously, guys, if anyone felt connected to anything I said, shoot me a DM. I'll read it as soon as I can. An email if anyone just wants some advice, regardless, whatever topic, school, personal, anything like that. I'm in Amherst. Shoot me an email always. If anyone wants to be an influencer for BusyCo, also email me, text me, anything like that. So yeah. Should we stop the recording and we can just kind of hang out for people?
yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, thank you everyone for coming.
BusyCo product.
yeah, go check out Dasha and BusyCo. Thank you all so much for coming tonight. Feel free to stick around and talk some more with us and Dasha if you want to, or reach out individually. But so excited that you were all here tonight and just how wonderful it was. Thank you, Dasha, so much.
Yeah, what are the requirements for being a BusyCo influencer? A generally engaged following, I would say. The willingness for your face to be on our feed, to share content. You can film TikToks for us, Instagram posts, everything again, things like that. So definitely, even if you don't even know if you want to do it, just reach out to me. Like you can come, I'll give you some products. I always have some on me. You can try, see if you like it. It's so good for your maskne too. Like I have the face wipes, which just like clear any germs from the mask. But yeah, I always shoot me an email. Please, I want to talk to some people if any of this resonated with you. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Dasha.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh, you are just